Why am I here? What do you want from me?
Okay, we're doing a super dramatic intro. In the year 2020.
In the year 2020.
In a strange land called Chile.
In a strange land called Chile.
Where no package could leave or enter.
Where no package could leave or enter.
One man.
One man.
Was able.
Was able.
With magic.
With magic.
To sneak in a box of pencils.
To sneak in a box of pencils.
The pencils were monarchs.
The pencils were monarchs.
The man was Albert Jones.
And the man was Albert Jones.
Dramatic music.
Dum dum dum!
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, let's get started. The page that we're working with is, of course, this very special page of Jack and Sally that I drew as a special commission for someone, actually. And it started out as a request. The person who requested this page specifically asked that I don't just draw Jack and Sally the way that they appear in Tim Burton's film, but that I draw them as more human. And she described the feeling behind the piece, and specifically Sally, she wanted to be more human. So this is what I came up with. And she loved it so much. Everyone who saw the coloring loved it. So Mel, the original commissioner of this image, has kindly agreed that we offer this page to everyone who joins my private community, Tom. So when you join, in the featured section of the page, you will see this design waiting for you. But the star of the show, of course, isn't the page, aren't these lovely characters, but this magical box of magical pencils. So this is brand new. I haven't opened it yet. I took the plastic off and that's it. So let's see what's inside. First of all, this is a box within a box. The new tin is amazing, of course. I love this tag. I love that the pencils are actually on the cover. On the back, as always, there's a little chart of all the colors and information about the Black Widow brand. Inside, we have green. So much green. This is terrifying. You guys know I hate green. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I don't actually hate green, but I hate working with green. I tend to create my own green tones. So when I found out how much green there is in this box, I was actually quite terrified. But now I'm rather excited. And actually the reason that I chose to work on this page, the Jack and Sally page, is because I'm going to make her skin all sorts of shades of green, and there's going to be a lot of green in the background and on her dress, on her skin, maybe a little bit on Jack as well. Green is actually going to be used quite a bit, but this box doesn't consist only of green, thank God. There's a second layer. Loving this two-finger thingy over here for really easy access to the second layer, which has colors that make me a lot happier. Blues and grays and browns. We'll use a lot of these colors as well. One thing that everyone's very happy about in this new set is that you can actually see what the color is, because Albert has provided us with this very nice section of the pencil that actually reveals the true color. Some of the other sets, the original Black Widow sets, didn't have this. I think only the skin tones did. But this set clearly has every single color identified, which I really like. And of course, we have a whole bunch of new names, which I will be calling out as I'm using these pencils. My lovely assistants today are, of course, Jack and Sally. So these are also not the original Tim Burton characters. They're as close to the originals as can be. So their colors aren't actually accurate. Like Sally is a light blue and Jack is a pale green. So I'm going to be making up my own colors. I'm not really using these guys for color reference. They're just here to keep me company and for inspiration. And because they're adorable. So if you know me, if you know my channel, you know that I'm crazy about this stuff. White charcoal. This is the only other tool that I will use other than the Monarch pencils. This stuff is great. I use it all the time. Of course, the link to the exact brand is in the video description. As always, all the tools that I'm using are in the video description, including all of the Black Widow sets. And you see me doing this all the time. This is like my signature move. I start with white charcoal. I established my lightest areas. I established the areas that I want to have the purest saturation of color in the end. And then I move on to my colors. All right, and that's all I'm going to do in terms of white on Jack and Sally. Let's jump straight into the scariest part, green. Let's see, what kind of green should we choose? I like these really pale ones. I think for Sally, it would be perfect. This is called washed green. There are two other tones here that seem very similar. There's antler and poison, nice names. But as you can see, they're very similar to the washed green. I will not use these two because they are too close in tone to the tone of my paper. So I'm actually going to go for something more extreme, like this green slime. Good name, Albert. I like that, green slime. And apple. That's a little too innocent for my taste, but okay, I'll deal. Cool green. I can do cool green. And one last one, iceberg. I'm going to start with the most pale color of them all, washed green. And I'm going to very gently apply it to all of her face, over the parts that I already made white. And the reason being is this washed green, it's very similar in tone to the paper that I'm using. So I don't want it to disappear directly on the paper. I do want to show the purest form of this color. So I primed her face with white charcoal, and now as I'm applying this washed green, it's actually appearing as it would on white paper. And this is a beautiful color, very gentle, exactly what I imagined. The little sample on the back of the pencil does not lie. This is exactly how the color is coming across. Now, I'm not applying a lot of pressure here at all. So if you're freaking out right now saying, this isn't saturated enough, this isn't a strong color, worry not. We will build up our colors. We will have very strong colors here in the end. But I like to start gentle, especially when I'm breaking in a pencil box, because I don't really know what to expect yet. So I'm treading carefully here. And it's like you get to know your tools, you don't really question them. You work a lot faster because you reach for the pencil that's familiar to you. It's your friend. But here, I don't know any of these guys. They're complete strangers to me. So I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to take it slow. So for now, I am applying a very gentle base layer of this washed green to all of Sally's skin tones. Very nice. Very nice. Let's move on to a darker green. This is iceberg. I'm going to add this iceberg over the washed green, around the eyes, and around her stitching here on the face. Oh, this is a beautiful color. Of course, you guys are probably expecting me to give you a review of how the pencils feel on the page and my reaction to that. And that's going to be difficult because I know Black Widow so well. I work with nothing else these days. I started out as a Prismacolor gal, and one of you sent me a box of, actually several boxes of Black Widow pencils, and I did my first review of Prismacolors versus Black Widows with the Harley Quinn page, which was a huge hit, and Albert Jones, the creator of Black Widows, saw that recording and commented on it, and one thing led to another. Before you know it, we became friends. He came on the show. My art is now on some of his pencils that are sold on Amazon. Awesome. Awesome relationship. One of the best things that has come out of YouTube in 2020. So, short story long, I've been working with Black Widows ever since, and I got hooked on them. I got totally hooked. I gotta say, this green thing isn't as scary as I thought it would be. It's actually quite pleasant. I mean, granted, I chose like this pale, deathly green, and I'm coloring a dead girl, so I'm really in a comfortable place right now. But still, it is green, and I'm doing quite well. You know, I'm not having a fit, breathing okay, heartbeat okay. I know a lot of you have been worrying about me about this green experiment, but it's quite pleasant. These pencils make it very enjoyable. All right, I think I can be done with this color. Let's see, what else did I choose here? I had another green that's quite bright. As long as I'm feeling brave about green, let's push it a little bit. This is cool green, and it looks quite cool. I'd say it's like a salad green. And I'm going to add it a little bit to her cheeks, just a little bit. My coloring style is all about layers. You know, these pencils, they're very friendly, and they're extremely good blenders, as we just talked about. But no matter what brand of pencils you're using, all of these effects can be enhanced if you apply your colors in layers, as opposed to trying to match the perfect color. A lot of us often get seduced by these large pencil boxes, like the 200 pencil set that I had from Prismacolor, or the 500 pencil set, something ridiculous. And it's a beautiful set, and it literally has every single tone of every single color. And I used like 20 of them because they're so close to each other. They have these perfect gradients, but you don't end up using all of these colors because it's too confusing. It's too much to choose from. So I actually prefer a smaller set. And what I like about Black Widows is that you have these, we have 6 sets now. We have the original Black Widow, the Cobra, the Scorpion, 2 skin tone sets. Did I mention those were my favorites? And now the Monarch of the Glen. So having smaller, more manageable sets, I think is a better way to go than one giant box that's supposed to cover every single occasion. What else have we got here? Apple. Apple, I don't know. I may not need it. I'm going to add it a little bit here. Okay, apple is a warmer green. I don't know if I wanted to go this warm, but hey, we're in it now. Maybe I can balance it out with some purple later on. Apple is definitely a beautiful green, but it might be too warm for what I wanted for Sally. Oh, green is scary after all. Help. Okay, well, you guys are witnessing this firsthand. I'm actually using green. I'm literally holding my breath right now. This is like properly frustrating for me. But in a fun way, you know, in a challenging way. And by no means is this anything negative against the pencil set. I just have this ridiculous fear of the color green. So for me, it's like overcoming a phobia. You know, people who are afraid of heights go base jumping so that they can get over their phobia. For me, it's working with the Monarch of the Glen to get over my fear of green. Let's see if Albert can cure me. I think that's enough green. Let's add something else. Let's add a little bit of, this is the fun part of the box. Let's add some gray. Let's add some brown. Let's add some purple. Okay, so for gray, I chose coal. For brown, mahogany. And for purple, lavender. And purple over green will create this grayish, brownish, kind of a muddy color, which is exactly what I'm going for. I'm not going for a pure color saturation here. But if you guys want to see what this color actually looks like on paper, I always have a test page nearby. And we can see how vibrant the color actually is. These are beautiful, solid colors. But I am a very pale colorist. I tend to go for more, I tend to color the way that I paint, and the way that I paint is very diffused. Like I like the dreamy, close to classical painting look, but with a little bit of fantasy. Okay, I feel a lot better adding this purple. Mixing colors, adding something, anything other than green makes me very happy. But to be fair, the purple is really bringing out the beauty of that apple green that I was so scared of. It's actually a really gorgeous color. A couple of months ago, we had Albert on the show when I did the Black Widow stream. And he spoke to us about how he actually selects the colors and how he goes to the factory and like picks the materials and how he works with the manufacturers. It's fascinating. I've always wanted to visit a pencil factory. It's like a chocolate factory for me. And I have the strangest bucket list too. People like want to go skydiving or swimming with sharks or fly airplanes. I've done all that. I want to go to a pencil factory. This is the pink that I'm using now on her lips, and this is Fudge. So I'm going to add Fudge to her lips, and I'm going to add it a little bit around her eyes. Just a little bit. Again, these colors layer really well over each other. The interesting thing about this set that's very different from the other Black Widow sets is that it doesn't start with white and end with black. This set doesn't have the extremes. Actually, it doesn't even have red. I was very surprised by that. A set that doesn't have red in it. Quite unusual. It's a proper pastel set. And the fact that it's Monarch of the Glen and all of these greens and diffused peaches and blues and grays and browns, it's very much like a forest. And I think that's what it's designed for. It's not meant to be the one and only set that you buy that covers all of your needs. It's a very specific mood for a very specific place. So no black, no white, but the brown and the gray takes you to a very high end of brown and gray, very dark. And the lighter peaches and the lighter greens are very, very pale. So again, if I really wanted black, I could pull it out of one of my other Black Widow sets. But this is supposed to be a challenge of using only the Monarch set and seeing what I can do with that. So no cheating. Not today. Well, we cheated a little bit with the white charcoal, but that doesn't count. I think she's looking lovely. Let's see what we can do with her hair. Like I said, this isn't a very accurate representation of Sally, but I think her hair was actually like this brown, auburn, chestnut kind of a color. Aztec gold, rusty. I feel like I should have something else. Oh, that purple that I was using earlier. So let me give you a sample of those colors as well. This is rusty, a beautiful brown. Aztec gold. It's pretty golden. And the purple that we were using earlier. That will be her hair.
Ooh.
I used green.
Oh, that's wonderful. I don't think I've ever seen you use green in any of your colorings.
I survived. There was...
Wow, that's such a great green.
There was an elevated heartbeat, sweaty palms. All that will be edited out of the video.
Are these all the colors? Wow, they've got like really good olives and...
Yeah, there are all sorts of olives and greens. Greens.
These are wonderful.
Yeah, they're quite amazing.
I came in to check on the technology.
How are we?
Seems like we're good.
I think it's like one of those things that men do when they just look under the hood of a car and they look at it and they look at it and it makes them manly and then somehow the car just works.
Well, no, see, that never happens with me. I look under the hood of the car and the car stays broken. Because I don't know anything about cars.
Thankfully, he's better with computers.
Yes, computers are... Yes.
So we're good?
Yep.
Thank you. And ta-da! The hair is done. Brown, purple, and orange. Loving it. Loving, loving, loving the blending on this pencil. So smooth. Let's see what we can do with Jack. for the skull, I'm going to add this really cool color that's called Oyster. And Oyster is, again, very close to the color of my paper, but a little bit more creamy. The paper is pure gray. This has a little bit more cream to it. So this is a perfect color for bone. And I'm going to add it just a little bit, not the entire head, but just a touch to make the bone look more realistic. And a little bit of gray, a slightly lighter gray than I used before, a medium gray. It's a very proper art term, Albert. Medium gray, not slimy warm or grayscale, like grayscale the disease, not grayscale the coloring style. Medium gray, I don't know. I might file a complaint about this pencil color name. It's a little bit dull. Sorry, Albert. Just, I like the stink bugs and the rotten carrot or all the funky names. I do hope that you don't lose them in the future, my friend. Please don't ever take this to mainstream pencil box direction. We love the crazy funky names. We love the unusual sets. At least I do. I am a diehard Black Widow gal now. And I'm not even sponsored by Black Widows. I just love them. All right, I'm going to do something crazy. Since I'm on the roll with green, I'm going to add a little bit of green to Jack's skull as well. I don't know why. Let's see what happens. This is called Poison. I think it's just so fitting. And again, I'm adding my colors very, very lightly because I like that kind of a blending technique. I don't ever use, not ever, but I rarely use colors to their full potential. Instead, I build up these tones, these moods for a more realistic type of a coloring on a fantasy kind of a piece. That's just my style. But by all means, you know, play with these in your own way. Every single one of you has an amazing coloring style, all very different. Some people are into really strong saturation. Some people are into blending all sorts of crazy colors together. Experiment. And normally I would actually say, don't be like me, kids. Don't just go crazy on a special page with a brand new box of pencils that you know nothing about. Try it on a test page first. You know, some people like to do little samples of every single color. A lot of you keep journals where you sample every single color. If that's your thing, go for it. You don't need to dive into it the way that I just did. I'm doing it for the entertainment value, for the experiment value, for the getting rid of my fear of green value. Okay, this is a very pale green, but it's still a green. And I'm willingly adding it to a part of a coloring that wasn't even meant to be green. Are you proud of me or what? Now the problem is Jack's costume is actually black with white stripes. So what do? We don't have black in here. We have something very close to black. This is the darkest color in the set. This is called Eggplant. So we're going to create a very dark color, not black entirely because I've used black in the creation of this page as a background. So I wouldn't actually use black for his coat anyway because it would blend with the background. So I would go for a dark charcoal, purple, blue, gray, brown. In this case, I'm going to go for purple because my whole thing is green and purple for this piece. Shadow. Now that's a good name. I like that. Shadow. And we'll actually start with this shadow. I'm going to color his entire coat with shadow, and then we'll start adding darker tones. I probably could have chosen a simpler page for this demo. This is quite involved. But I'm having a lot of fun. I don't know if it's because the pencils are brand new or because it's been so warm in the house. I feel like they blend even better than the other Black Widow sets. I don't know if I can make that claim that they're actually softer and smoother and they blend even better, because I don't know if anything changed in terms of the pencil composition, or if Albert used different people to actually manufacture this set. I will certainly ask him. Maybe it's just my luck. Maybe I'm just super excited about working with a new pencil box, but I feel like the blending is just top notch. The bow. How about Blue Moon for the bow tie? And let me give you a sample of Blue Moon. Oh, the perfect blue. Just like the natural blue of my hair. In a future set, this should be called the Lisa Blue. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. I think the biggest problem that colorists have with wax pencils is that they apply too much pressure. I am barely applying any pressure to the page. Even for strong saturation like here, I'm not pressing onto the page at all. I'm just adding more layers where I want the color to be stronger. There's a moth in here. The Lisa Blue. And we will blend this Lisa Blue with Cat's Eye. This Cat's Eye is quite an attractive color, and it's making the Lisa Blue even stronger. There it is on its own. And there it is over the Lisa Blue. See the really cool effect? That's what I'm going for on the bow tie. You notice how I started all timid and barely applying my light green to the face, and now I'm just like roar all over the page with my bright colors. Like that. The blues are quite heavenly. Thank you, Albert. Amazing blues. Amazing. I can't get enough of this blue. I have a feeling there will be more blue crystals in your future. Oh, it's so beautiful. Oh my God. Oh, this is very much like one of the amazing olive green colors in the skin tone set that I love. That seems totally out of place in the skin tone set, but I can't do skin tones without it now. It's very similar to that, but it's stronger. Look at that saturation. That's amazing. I don't even need to give you a sample of this. This is like light bronze. Yeah, it's pretty accurate. It is indeed like a light bronze. Gorgeous color. Look, we can add green to it. Here's that apple again. I'm on a roll. Green everywhere. Okay, now for this mushroom. It's just such a cool name. Mushroom. I like mushrooms. This is once again Rusty. Not Rust. I think there's a pencil called Rust in another box. This is Rusty. I'm going to use this Rusty for the swirly designs on her dress. I'm usually not a background gal, but I did draw this very cool frame. Green. Let's do it. Let's do more green. So there's a darker green that I found here that is leaf green, very foresty, cool green, washed green, and green slime. All right, so as I'm finishing up this border with green slime, which is quite fun, I'm really getting a hang of this green thing. As I'm finishing up the border, let's talk about how this went, about how I felt, how I survived the green test, and my general summary of this amazing box of pencils. So definitely very different, even for Black Widows, very different, but very different in a good way. This is, again, a set that invites you into its own universe with a mood, with mood lighting. This is the Elf Forest set. So definitely purchase it with that mindset. This isn't a pencil box that will solve all of your coloring problems. if you're new to coloring, I would go with the original Black Widow, the one with the spider on it, and the skin tone sets. If you are already an established colorist and you either have a bunch of other brands laying around or you have some of the Black Widows, you absolutely need this. You level up with this. This is a playground in a box. Go get it. It's worth it. As far as actual quality of the pencils, I know I didn't talk much about it, and that's because I'm so used to Black Widows. This is nothing new for me. I know exactly how they feel on paper. I knew exactly what to expect in terms of layering. I just didn't know what to expect in terms of color. So most of this review is about the colors, not about the pencils. If you want to hear more about, I mean, the feeling is great. They feel great on paper, just in a nutshell, they're amazing. But if you want a more detailed analysis of exactly how Black Widows feel on paper, what to expect from blending, then check out my other videos that I've done on this brand. And of course, if you want to play with this particular page, come to my private community, Talm. All you need to do is knock. As soon as you approve to join, this is the page that you'll see on a welcome page. You will see it also in the featured list. You can't miss it. People are coloring it, so it's all over the place. If you're lost when you come to Talm for the first time, we have an orientation video, which I encourage you to watch. It's quite fun. And just roam around and see if you can find your own way around it, because it is quite friendly and very, very well designed to be a platform that's just easy to use, easy to navigate, and designed specifically for creators to meet like-minded creators. We're not a coloring group. We are not even a group at all. We are a community of all sorts of creators. We have poets, we have musicians, we have artists, illustrators, painters, we have toy makers, we have Legos experts, all sorts of creative people, many of whom happen to like to color. We're just all there to mingle and meet each other and find people to collaborate with. And we're all somehow trying to improve something. Even if you're just working on improving your confidence in coloring, that's something that you're welcome to share with the group, and let us encourage you. Certainly, you are welcome to reach out to me personally or to any one of my admins if you need any help navigating the community. We're always there. We answer immediately. And it's a very private, very cozy place. So I hope I'll see you there. Ooh, you know what? I need my white gel pen. I want to add some to his teeth. Be right back. I love adding the final highlights with a white gel pen. So all the links to all the materials that I use in my videos are always in the video description. So every single Black Widow box, linked in the description below. These gel pens that I use, the white charcoal, all of it. And in the community as well, I have a separate topic for Lisa's links, and you can find all of my supplies there, very easy. This can go on forever. I'm gonna call it done. I had an amazing time with these. I may have even overcome my fear of green. Thank you so much, Albert Jones, for creating this incredible set for us, for sending me a box, and just for everything that you do for the coloring community. I love it. So you guys know the drill. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, join me on Patreon. If you enjoy the content, if you enjoy the community, I can always use extra help. The patrons are the only reason that we even have a community, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to afford it. So do join me and check out the tiers. I offer a lot of amazing benefits. Bye! Happy coloring, and post your work in the community.